Hey, my beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I am going to talk about what I will be reading in the month of April, and I am going to include asking you, my viewers, to deal with picking out a book that I'm going to add to the stack. So first off, I am going to join in with Jim at Gemma Books, group read of Pachinko. This is a lovely novel that I don't want to know too much about. Basically, it is a young girl kind of coming of age who is born in Korea but makes her way to Japan. So I believe most of this novel is set in Japan and follows several generations and deals with a lot of discussion or thought around immigration and that kind of thing, which I think would be fascinating when it's not even set in the United States. So particularly looking forward to that and group reading it. For classic, I am going to read The House on Mango Street. I know several people, when I picked this for one of my goals for the year, had mentioned that they had read it in school, which I had never even heard of it. I just found it in the classic section and thought that it was a nice short book that looked interesting because it's also talking about immigration. I think it's Mexico. It's somewhere in Central America, immigrating to Chicago, and again that kind of coming of age, but this one's set in America, so that will be good to have those two to kind of compare and deal with. And then something completely different, I went ahead and added the number 2 pick that you picked for me on my add to my TBR for last month. The number 2 winner was the first book in the Wheel of Time. What is this? The Eye of the World? The Eye of the World. And it is officially a mammoth read. It's 815 pages. So hopefully I will get to the whole thing, but I'm at least going to attempt to start it. And I have not watched the show. I'm intentionally trying to at least read the first one before I start watching the show, so I have some comparison. So I will be reading that. I also had picked James Michener's Texas as kind of, I had originally thought this was more nonfiction as opposed to historical fiction, but the more I've looked into it, it is actually historical fiction because the characters are all fictitious that he has made up, but he has done extensive research. This is actually part 1 and it's over 600 pages, so I look forward to reading this. But this doesn't really satisfy my nonfiction category that I do try to read, so I am going to give you, I think, 5 different choices of nonfiction books that I have that are on my to be read, and you tell me which one I should read in April. So one is The Girl Who Smiled Beads. This has been kind of near the top of my list for a long time, but it is the story of a woman who is trying to escape war in Rwanda. This one, A Tokyo Romance, is a memoir of particularly around a romantic relationship, but in Japan, a memoir in Japan, which may correspond good to my other book, right? I also love the writing of Susan Orlean. This is Rin Tin Tin, about a documentary style book on the life of that famous dog, which I actually don't know really anything about him. I also love this author. I have read 2 others of his book. This one is on George Washington and Benedict Arnold and the American Revolution. So I have fairly recently, about 3 or 4 years ago, been to Boston and done a lot of those tours and research into that early Americana, so I would be interested in reading that. And the last one up for vote is Jane Austen Writer Club, talking about the writings around her work. So let me know in the comments below which of those nonfictions I should add. I will also be adding my new release from my Book of the Month Club, and so there will be that one in my reviews. I forgot what I picked, but I picked something and it'll be here in a week, but no worries because I've got plenty to read in the meantime while I wait for that one to come. But that is what I will be reading in April. If you have read any of these, no spoilers, but leave me a message below, or if you're interested in reading them at some point. It's always fun to see, what people are lining up with in the future, and let me know which nonfiction you think I should add to my list. I appreciate the input. I appreciate you stopping by. Like and subscribe for more goodness. I'll see y'all soon. Take care.